not been listening to a child crying for help. I had been listening to a child becoming something. We play games, practice.
I've heard thousands of confessions in my life, but only one still keeps me awake. Not because it was the worst, because I still don't know what I was listening to. It began on a rainy Tuesday, the kind of day when the church feels half asleep. The heater rattled, the pews were empty, and I had closed my eyes for a moment in the confessional when the opposite door clicked open. Soft steps, a child's breathing. I began the ritual, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. But the child said nothing. Instead, a small hand pushed a folded piece of paper through the grill. 4 words in shaky handwriting. He comes at tea night. My chest tightened. Who comes at night? I whispered. Silence. Only the faint, uneven breathing of a boy trying not to break. A second note slid through. Not allowed to talk. I had dealt with children before. Those who were scared, confused, ashamed. But this was different. Something behind the silence felt structured, controlled. Did someone tell you to keep quiet? No answer. When I prayed aloud, he didn't join me, just sat perfectly still, breathing like each inhale hurt. When he left, he moved so quietly I almost wondered if I imagined him. He returned the next Tuesday, and the next, 9 Tuesdays in total. Always the same hesitation at the door, always the same silence, only the notes changed. Week 2, we play games. What kind of games? Silence. A second paper, secret games. Can't tell. I felt cold. The kind of cold that doesn't fade with a code or a prayer. I tried to coax details out of him. I asked indirect questions. Was he hurt? Was he afraid? Was this person older? Did someone force him into something? No matter what I asked, he only answered through those small carved sentences. If I pushed too directly, he withdrew into absolute silence. Week 5. He says I learned fast. That sentence lingered in my mind, more than any other. What was he learning? Why would someone praise a child for it? I never saw his face. Not once. But I memorized his shoes. Small, worn sneakers with blue laces. I looked for them everywhere. Schoolyards, sidewalks, grocery store aisles. I never found them. It was as if he existed only from 3:15 to 3:35 p.m. on Tuesdays. Week 6 delivered the first true punch. He slid the paper in slowly, almost shaking. I did what he did. He smiled. I stared at those words for a long time. Did what? Silence. Did someone else get hurt? He pulled the paper from my fingers so quickly it startled me. I felt trapped between my vow and the desperate urge to tear open the booth and demand answers. I could feel him on the other side, small, breathing fast, gripping his knees or the edge of the seat. I began to dread Tuesdays. The 9th note was the worst. He shoved it through with frantic force. Ink bled through the paper, letters pressed too hard. He let me try the rope. My throat closed. What rope? Did something happen? Did you hurt someone? Did he hurt someone? The paper disappeared, yanked back violently. A new one came. I did good. Those words sounded like a verdict. I inhaled, forced myself calm. Listen to me. If someone tells you to harm anyone, that person is in grave sin. You are not responsible for their evil. You are a child. A sharp inhale cut me off. His first real sound, half gasp, half warning. When I suggested talking to someone outside confession, he froze. Then he fled. The door opened, hinges groaned, then silence. He never came back. Years passed. I kept the notes, at first to pray for him, later because I couldn't bear throwing away the only clues to something I never understood. I told myself he was a victim, that the abuser was arrested, that some miracle intervened and saved him. But those explanations felt like bedtime stories for adults. And then, one evening, the news shattered everything. A breaking report. Police lights. A man in handcuffs. Calm face. Dark hair. The smallest hint of a smile tugging at his mouth. I didn't recognize him, but something inside me recoiled. A reporter asked something I couldn't hear. His answer was clear. Because they learn. Some learn faster than others. My spine turned to ice. I ran to my room, pulled the shoebox from the closet, spilled all 9 notes across the bed. There it was. He says I learned fast, and next to it, I did what he did. He smiled. Police believed the man had started young, that someone older had taught him. That early signs were missed. They weren't missed. I had read them, handwritten. Tuesday after Tuesday, I had assumed he was describing his abuser. What if he wasn't? What if he was describing his instructor? And what if the things he learned weren't survival tactics, but techniques? Suddenly, every note looked different. We play games, practice, secret games, experiments, try the rope, training. I had not been listening to a child crying for help. I had been listening to a child becoming something. And the confessional had been his testing ground, his safe place, his laboratory, his first rehearsal. I had been the adult who let him reveal his darkness in controlled fragments, without consequences. He learned the limits. He learned what he could say. He learned he would walk away untouched. Now, when the church is empty, I sometimes sit alone in the confessional. I imagine a new note sliding through the grill. Not childish handwriting anymore. Smooth, controlled, precise. A man's handwriting, the note says only. Thank you for keeping my secret. And I finally understand the true horror. I wasn't the priest who failed him. I was the priest who helped him practice.
These stories are too real not to be true. See you in new scary stories.